Dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria. Wow! Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
What's up, dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host, as always, Jay Schatzer. And today, well, I have an odd 80s film lined up for us. It is Mike Marvin's 1986 oddity, The Wraith. And if you've seen this one, you know it's a little bit out there, but it's totally 80s. So let's jump into this 80s fun. Here is The Wraith. The Wraith is a strange 80s revenge flick, which resides in an obscure cinematic gray area with touches of horror, sci-fi, action, and romance thrown into the mix, making for a very unusual viewing experience that's undeniably a whole hell of a lot of fun. Benefiting from an outstanding cast and an unorthodox premise, the production astounds with its unpredictable nature and sharp, rough, and gruff attitude. Totally 80s and dripping with nostalgic overtones, The Wraith is a fascinating genre bender that delights with style and entertains with high-octane badassery. The film follows the crazy antics of a rude and crude group of hot rod scam artist punks, led by the ruthless and undeniable king of the pricks, Packard Walsh, as they are hunted down one by one and murdered by a mysterious veiled driver in a souped-up and futuristic Dodge M4S. Who is this elusive specter of a racer? Is it new kid Jake Kesey, who just arrived in town? Is it Billy Hankins, out for revenge after his brother was mysteriously murdered last year? Or is it one of the many people that Packard and his gang have wronged? Who really knows for sure? But one thing is certain, Sheriff Loomis is on the case. The only problem is, will anyone be left alive in Packard's gang once the case is finally solved? As energized as the 80s, the cast of The Wraith is tremendously personable and full of vigor, as both small roles and starring ones give it their all in upping the ante of this high-octane flick. The primary players of this pulse-pounding, pandemonium-fueled flick are Charlie Sheen as Jake Kesey, a rebel without a cause who just rode into town; Nick Cassavetes as Packard Walsh, a ruthless psychotic who rules his gang like a complete asshole; Cheryl Lynn Fenn as Carrie Johnson, a drop-dead gorgeous stunner who's got the hots for Jake but gets the wrath of Packard; Randy Quaid as Sheriff Loomis, the hard-nosed lawman determined to solve this ongoing crime of vehicular homicide; Matthew Berry as Billy Hankins, a super nerdy teen who befriends Jake after he strolls into town; David Sherrill as Skank, a burned-out chemical-huffing madman who's got no brains and a very short lifeline; and finally Clint Howard as Rughead, a crackerjack mechanic and warped engineer of the gang of miscreants. Weird, wild, and everything in between, the cast embodies perfectly the style and attitude of the film, giving it an extra injection of life that helps this captivating little cult classic flick burn out into entertaining territory. With its unchained personalities and penchant to push things to the extreme, the production excels in its over-the-top world-building, where drag races are a constant nuisance, and phantom racers bent on revenge are a normal, everyday occurrence. The setup, actions, and overall conclusion of this flick is out of this world, and the way in which the film devolves into a supernatural slasher-style flick is extremely unexpected and absolutely thrilling to see unfold. Horror mixed with sci-fi with a side of romance. There really is so much to love about this obscure little oddity. The film also has a rocking soundtrack that perfectly captures the spirit of the film, with hit songs from Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue, Robert Palmer, Billy Idol, and Bonnie Tyler, giving the production a fresh and rebellious audible pinch of style that aids in on the vehicular madness. steeped in mystery and supercharged with stupendously shot action scenes. This is one film that often thinks outside the box, and presents a winding plot that never treads on familiar ground, yet still manages to fit right in with other fondly remembered 80s productions. If you dig the 80s and you love the wild fantasy-style stories that seem to sprout like wildfire from that era, then you owe it to yourself to check out this fast and furious flick. In the end, The Wraith is a fast-moving fantasy horror drama, which takes its revenge-style plot and gives it an added dose of off-kilter characters and high-octane action that kicks ass, takes names, and without a doubt, burns rubber like a bat out of hell. And there you have it, my 80s loving friends. That is the fantastically fun, entertaining, and high-octane action revenge horror sci-fi flick that is The Wraith. And wow, I remember seeing this when I was young. I used to watch it all the time. Revisited it recently, and it still holds up to me, at least. Just really cool, great cast, cruel and brutal in parts, and just very fascinating of how odd of a film it is. But guys, that is it for me today. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, leave a comment below because I'd love to hear from you. But until then, I will see you guys at the next movie review. Take care.